Hello, this is Ross Bliley from the podcast Pigskin Tales. This podcast is sponsored by Sterling Soap Company. With products sold throughout 41 locations around the globe, Sterling Soap Company has a unique assortment of products to choose from for your loved one for the holidays. Handmade artisan soaps created by Roderick and Amanda Lovin since 2012, these products are affordable and provide great value. Act now and save on your shipping costs. If you purchase $75 or more, your shipping cost is free in the United States. Shop now online at sterlingsoap.com.
This podcast is part of the Sports History Network, your headquarters for the yesteryear of your favorite sport. You can learn more at sportshistorynetwork.com.
Hi folks, welcome again to another episode of Pro Football in the 1970s. I'm your host, Joe Zagorski, and in this episode I'll be talking about the Minnesota Vikings' best team of the decade of the 1970s. Now, the common opinions that I have read regarding the best Minnesota Vikings team of the 1970s has declared that the 1975 season was the best year of the decade for the Norsemen. But I contend that the 1973 Vikings team was their best team of that era, and I'll tell you why. First, let's take a look at their regular season record. The 1973 Vikings achieved an exemplary 12-2 mark, which was the best mark in the league. During the course of that season, they managed to win their first 9 games, and by the 11th week of the season, they had already secured the championship of the NFC's Central Division. Their offense accumulated 4,231 total yards in 1973. They also accounted for a total of 30 touchdowns. Future Hall of Fame quarterback Fran Tarkenton led Minnesota's offense. He contributed a 61.7 completion percentage with his passes. Now, the 1973 season also saw the rookie year for a dynamic running back, Chuck Foreman, out of the University of Miami. Foreman's twisting runs and spinning dashes through opposing defenses, combined with his excellent ability to run pass patterns out of the backfield and catch most passes that came his way, enlivened the previously stagnant Minnesota offense. By season's end, Foreman had rushed for 801 yards and he caught 37 passes. Now, Minnesota's defense in 1973 had one of their best years ever. That unit was ranked as second best in the entire NFL. They only gave up a meager 168 points in 1973. Even more telling was the fact that the Minnesota pass defense only allowed 8 touchdown passes all year long. By the end of the year, Minnesota's defenders caused 33 opposing turnovers. Now I know what you're thinking. You're thinking that the NFC Central Division was notoriously weak in 1973. And you're right. But you still have to play the games, and upsets could happen at any time. There were only 3 teams that managed to beat the Vikings in 1973. They included the Atlanta Falcons on Monday Night Football on November the 19th, the Cincinnati Bengals on December 2nd, and the Miami Dolphins in Super Bowl VIII. Minnesota did not lose a home game all throughout 1973. But it was their 9-game winning streak that was most impressive. The Vikings did not really have a lot of blowout victories in 1973. They had to fight, scratch, and crawl their way to winning the games that they won. Their largest margin of victory was 24 points over the Green Bay Packers and the New York Giants at the end of the 1973 regular season. The rest of their victories were settled by closer final scores. Another important factor in Minnesota's 1973 win total was the fact that they were able to beat all of the teams in their division twice. If any team sweeps all of their division opponents, as the Vikings had done in 1973, then that team will in all likelihood make the playoffs, regardless of what era you're talking about. Perhaps the most important factor in helping the Vikings of 73 get to the Super Bowl was their ability to peak at the exact right time of the season. Now, during their final 2 regular season games, their defense permitted a total of just 2 touchdowns. With that kind of a defense, you're going to win most of your games. But the playoffs brought on stiffer competition. Nevertheless, Minnesota fought hard in the second half of their divisional playoff contest against Washington to defeat the Redskins 27-20. Then in the NFC Championship game at Dallas, all the fruits of the Vikings' labor came to full fruition. Minnesota took advantage of 6 Cowboy turnovers to post a 27-10 victory. The 1973 Minnesota Vikings did lose Super Bowl VIII to a truly great Miami Dolphins team, but despite that loss, I feel that the 1973 season was the best overall season for the Minnesota Vikings during the 1970s. Now for the trivia question for this episode. Which Minnesota player led the Vikings in pass receptions in 1973? Once again, I'd like to thank you for listening in. Please make sure that you keep listening to the Sports History Network for a variety of great sports-related podcasts. You can catch them online, and you can also catch them on Facebook. Thanks a lot, folks. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.
This podcast is part of the Sports History Network, your headquarters for the yesteryear of your favorite sport. You can learn more at sportshistorynetwork.com.
The heel gets the heat. The babyface gets the cheers. But the jobber gets, well, the job done. And speaking of jobbers, Barry Horowitz wasn't there to win titles. He was there to build them. By selling every move, every storyline, and every new star that stepped into the ring. He was the secret sauce. And now, he's the headline in his new book titled, Wrestling is My Gimmick, My Life on the Wrong Side of the 3 Count. This memoir is a deep dive into wrestling's most underrated position and the man who made it an art form. Whether you're a fan of wrestling, a fan of sports history, or just love a great story, this book is for you. Again, that's Wrestling is My Gimmick by Barry Horowitz. Grab your copy today before the count strikes 3.